So we have a fresh batch of patch notes for Elden Ring. This is Elden Ring patch 1.07, and this is going to bring balance adjustments to improve the stability of the gameplay. Many changes were brought to spells, skills, incantations, and weapons to encourage more versatility in terms of the gameplay. The platforms PS4, PS5, Xbox One, the Xbox Series, and Steam. Online play will require you to apply the update. Then in the summary, they've got additional features, PvP exclusive balance adjustments, general balance adjustments, then you've got adjustments on magic and incantations, then you've got adjustments of skills, and then there are some bug fixes. So the additional features, they've added separate damage scaling for PvP. So now for weapons, skills, spells, and incantations, they can balance them all separately. So you'll have PvP balances and PvE balances, which is a really, really good feature. In the future, this feature may be used to balance weapons, art, spell, and incantation in invading/PvP mode. Balance adjustments made within this feature will not impact single player and cooperative play. So where we have the PvP exclusives, these do not affect single player or co-op. They've increased the stamina attack power in PvP for all attacks against guarded foes, except for long-ranged weapons. And they have improved the poise damage in PvP for every weapon's normal attack, except for skills and long-ranged weapons. With a few exceptions, the power of Ashes of War in PvP has been lowered across the board. The power of the following incantations in PvP has been decreased. So you've got Dragonfire, Agil's Flame, Glintstone Breath, Smaragd's Glintstone Breath, Rotten Breath, Ezek's or Ezek's Decay, I can't remember how to say half the names in this game, Dragon Ice, Borealis' Mist, and Unendurable Frenzy. Then moving on to the general balance adjustments, these will affect both PvE and PvP. They've increased poise damage when using two-handed normal attacks. They've increased the speed of some Colossal Sword attacks. The speed and hit detection of Colossal Sword's crouching and rolling attacks have been decreased. They've increased the speed of some Colossal Weapon attacks. So that's the speed of some Colossal Swords, and then the speed of Colossal Weapons as well. They've decreased the recovery time for Colossal Swords and Colossal Weapons, except for jump attacks, dual-wielded attacks, and attacks while riding. They've increased the poise damage of hammers, great hammers, and some Colossal Weapons. Then they've also done the guard's penetration for the following weapons. You can see the list there. Then the poise rating of some attacks has been increased for the following weapons. Again, you can see them there. They are not specific weapons. They are actually weapon categories or weapon classes. With some exceptions, poise of all armor has been increased. The effect of the Great Shield Talisman and the Hammer Talisman has been increased. That's a really, really good change. I think they do need to buff them, actually the big majority of the talismans in the game. There are some that are really powerful, but there are a lot that really lack any sort of power. Some effects of the Spell Scholar's Shield, the Barricade Shield skill, and the Shield Grease item have been adjusted as follows. The effects on shields with low guard boost have been adjusted upward, and then the shields that have high guard boost, they've been adjusted downward. The guard strength of the Fingerprint Stone Shield has been decreased, and they've decreased the status build-up done by dual-wielded weapons. Then we have balance adjustments for magic and incantations, and these are upward adjustments. So Glintstone Pebble and Shard Spiral increased attack power. Lightning Spear and Flame Sling increased attack power when charged. Rejection, Wrath of Gold and Black Flame increased stamina attack power against guarded enemies. Crystal Burst and Triple Rings of Light increased casting speed. Assassin's Approach and Lore is that of Casuality or Casualty, I don't know if that's a typo. They've extended the effect time. Glintstone Ice, Crag, Freezing Mist, and Frozen Armament. They've increased the Frostbite status build-up. And then Poison Mist and Poison Armament, they've increased the Poison status build-up. Then we have a big list of magic and incantations and stuff. You can see all of the items there. They have decreased their FP consumption, which is really, really good. Especially for things like Grail's Roar. I can't remember how much FP that uses, but it does use a lot. Then you've got things like Elden Stars in there. You've got Night Shard. You've got the Dark and the Full Moon. You've got Loretta's Great Bow. You've got Great Blade Phalanx, Carian Phalanx, Glint Blade Phalanx, Glintstone Arc. You've even got Unendurable Frenzy in there, Death Lightning, Lanciax's Glaive. Then moving down again, Glintstone Stars, Magma Shot and Blood Boon. They've decreased the FP consumption and increased attack power. Then for aspects of the Crucible, the Tail, the Horn for Ancient Dragon's Lightning Spear, Fortisax's Lightning Spear and Flamefall upon them. They have decreased the FP consumption and increased stamina attack power against guarded enemies. Then with a Glintstone, Comet Shard, Comet, Cannon of Heimer, Karian Greatsword, they've decreased the FP consumption. They've increased the attack power and stamina attack power against guarded enemies. Then we have more where they've decreased the FP consumption. They've increased the blood loss status build up on enemies and the casting speed for Briars of Sin and Punishment. You've also here got extended the lifespan of all vengeful spirits. Then we've got reduced FP stamina, increased stamina attack power against guards, and the power of the hammer portion of the attack. Then we've got more FP being reduced, and we've got increased power when charged and stuff. We've got Shatter Earth, Rock Blaster, Starlight, Stars of Ruin, and Found in Rain of Stars. For Magic Glint Blade, they've increased the poise damage attack power and stamina attack power against guarded enemies when charged. Karian Piercer, they've reduced FP consumption, increased the attack power. So a lot of the incantations in the game are going to be a lot more powerful than they previously were, which I think is really, really good. It's definitely going to add in some versatility. People will try out new builds and stuff. Then we've got Adula's Moonblade, reduce the FP consumption, increase stamina attack power, and Frostbite status build up against guarded enemies with the sword's slash portion. Gelmir's Fury, they've done multiple things to that. Increased the casting speed, they've shortened recovery time, reduced the FP, increased the attack power. Then we've got some more Ice Storm, increased attack power and Frostbite status build up. Casting speed, they've shortened the recovery time. Shattering Crystal, they've done similar things. Crystal Release, again done similar. I mean, they are pretty much all similar. Oracle Bubbles, and then Great Oracular Bubble. They can now be used while you're in motion, so you don't have to stand still to use these incantations anymore. They've also increased the attack power with the Great Oracular Bubble, increased the tracking performance of it. They've extended the time it takes for the bubble to burst when it's not charged for Oracle Bubbles. Damage hitbox has been adjusted to be larger against players. Then we've got Explosive Ghost Flame. They've increased the attack power and stamina attack power against guarded enemies. They've done another couple of things for that. Tibia Summons, reduced the FP consumption and increased attack power. They've done it to a lot where they've increased the attack power or they've reduced the FP consumption. The casting speed's been increased. And then with the Discus of Light, they've also increased the range, speed, and duration of the Halo. Then we've got Radagon's Rings of Light, Frozen Lightning Spear, Flame of the Fell Gods. They've increased the attack power when you charge it. They've shortened the damage detection time of Residual Fire. Whirlo Flame, they've reduced the FP consumption. That was a really, really fun incantation to use. They've also increased the ability to stagger enemies with that one. Then we've got Burno Flame. They've shortened the time it takes for a flame pillar to be generated. For Scouring Black Flame, they've increased the stamina attack power against guarded enemies and increased poise damage when charged. Then we've got Noble Presence. We've got Beast Claw. We've got just basically a load of other stuff. I'll keep scrolling down. You guys can pause the video if you need to. But most of it is reducing the FP consumption, increasing the stamina attack power, the general damage you can deal with them. They've got upward and downward adjustments for Black Blade and Bestial Sling. So they've reduced stamina consumption, improved tuning performance, and shortened recovery time. The sword and the wave attack have been changed so that they hit at the same time. Attack power, stamina attack power, and poise damage of each part have been decreased. And they've decreased the number of times the wave part hits large enemies. Then on the side of Bestial Sling, they've reduced the stone fragment scatter randomness, increased the stamina attack power against guarded enemies, reduced between 2 hits and adjusted the detection, so the 2 hits are always made at close range. Then they've decreased the poise damage. Then there's something that's been nerfed, just a straight up downward adjustment, is Rotten Breath and the Ezeek's Decay, or Ezeek's Decay. I have no idea how you say that, apologies, but leave me alone in the comments. What they've done with that is reduce the Scarlet Rot status effect build-up. Then we have skills, and this is where the video is going to get really, really, really long. So what I'm going to do is just slowly scroll through this, and you guys can pause if you need to, and I'm just having a quick flick through as I'm going down. You'll see it here, they've slightly increased attack power. Then on Ground Slam, they've increased the attack power, so that'll be a bigger buff. Then we've got things for Stamp, Impale and Thrust. We've got a lot of stuff they have done in patch 1.07. So just keeping scrolling down, Lifesteal Fist. They've increased the motion speed and attack power. And carrying on going down, they have so many things where they've improved directional control. They've increased power of Bloodblade. They increased range and speed of the projectile Halo. And they also added damage detection to the weapon part of Sacred Ring of Light. And then carrying on, we've got Chilling Mist and Poisonous Mist here. They've increased the motion speed. And then we've got Warcry, extended the effect duration. The power of strong attacks during the duration of the effect have been increased when using the following weapons. So you've got a bunch of weapon classes there. Then we've got Troll's Roar. There's only one thing done to quite a few of these. But then carrying on, Moonlight Greatsword, reduced stamina consumption for stronger charged attacks. Added damage detection to the weapon part. Then carrying on going down, Night and Flame stance, they've increased the attack power. That's the Sword of Night and Flame, yeah? The attack direction may now be adjusted up and down when using a normal attack. Added damage detection to the weapon part. I'm pretty sure that is the Sword of Night and Flame. So they've buffed up the attack power. But they nerfed it previously. So you guys are going to have to let me know in the comments. Have they gone through, nerfed a load of stuff, say even in 1.04? Have they gone and nerfed a load of things previously just to buff some of them up now? Have they done that to make their patch notes list bigger? Because seeing something like that was previously nerfed. So I'm not entirely sure. Overall, looking at this, it seems to be a really, really good patch. Not necessarily for the incantations or anything like that. It's mainly because they have now separated PvP and PvE balancing. Which I think a lot more games should try and aim to do that. You've got something like, I'm going to go with a game that I play a lot on the channel, The Division 2. They won't separate the balance. So when something needs nerfing or balancing in PvP, they just slam it across the board so it ruins it for PvE when it didn't actually need touching, that it wasn't too overpowered in a PvE scenario. So I'm really, really happy they've done that. Corpse Piler, that is from the Rivers of Blood. They slightly increased the attack power. So it's looking as though there are a few things they previously nerfed that they're just going to bring back up a little bit to try and give them a better balance. Because I know Sword of Night and Flame, they nerfed it into the ground. And then I think Corpse Piler got badly battered as well. So now we've got one here that's got upward and downward, Barbaric Roar. And then we've got 3 that have downward adjustments. So these have just been straight up nerfed. Seppuku. They've increased the damage taken upon activation. And they've reduced the bleed status build-up effect that's granted to weapons. So there's just a straight nerf to Seppuku. And Blood Boon Ritual. They've reduced the range of the damage animation trigger on other players. The damage is unchanged. Shield Crash. They've reduced the amount of status build-up when used with weapons that have status effects. So again, Seppuku, they've brought Corpse Piler back up. They've brought up the Night and Flame stance. But now they've nerfed Seppuku. So it seems as though they're going to be testing the waters with a load of different things. And then in 1.08, we're probably going to see a reverse patch note list where they change things around again. And then bug fixes, I believe there's a few of these, so we're not going to go through them. But they have done things like added a process to remove the Ash of War from weapons that cannot normally be combined with certain Ashes of War. They've adjusted player character control when under certain damage animations. They've done quite a lot here. And at the bottom, they fixed a bug that could prevent online multiplayer from working properly on the PS4 and PS5. Then there are also several other performance improvements and bug fixes. So, in my opinion about these patch notes, overall they are positive. They've separated the balance, which I think is a really, really good change. But I don't like how they brought down Corpse Piler and Night and Flame stance in previous patches, and then they brought them back up now. They should have they should have tested them better and balanced them better in previous patches, or left them alone until they knew a sort of balance. Or maybe they could do something with a beta branch or something like that. So basically open up some essentially public test servers to get people to test the balance and see how it goes from there. But then obviously it's a double-edged sword because sometimes that can backfire. A lot of people jump into PCS versions of games just to play the latest gameplay. They're not always going to leave feedback. So it's a very, very tricky one. I think overall the developers have done a fantastic job with this. There's not too much there that's been nerfed. The majority of it has been brought up, which is what a lot of gamers cry for when they see balancing done. So overall, 1.07, fantastic patch. As long as it doesn't go and break things in the game or make some things too weak, make new things far too strong, all that sort of stuff. But we are going to leave that video there. Check out this video if you want to see other Elden Ring content on the channel. That's going to do it for this one. I'll see you in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.